Today I'm going to show you how to shave the back and sides of your hair if you're male or if you just want short hair in the back or sides and you don't want to go to a barber to pay for it. So the first thing I'll say is this is way easier than you think it is, and I'm going to make sure that you have all the right steps and tools that you need to do this well. I've been doing this for the past 7 to 8 years, so I have plenty of experience doing this and I've never messed it up, so don't be scared. The first thing you will need is going to be this kit. So this is a Wall, WHL, I think is how you pronounce that. Everything you'd ever need to shave your own head. So it has all of these different numbered guards that will cut your hair to different lengths, which I will explain. It has scissors for you to cut your hair, this big apron thingy to keep yourself from getting hair all over yourself and being itchy. It has combs, it has brushes, and most importantly, it has this, which is what we really need combined with these, the electric razor that you will actually use to cut your hair. Hopefully you already have one of those. If not, it's going to be a little hard to cut all of your back hairs with scissors. Maybe go to a different video for that. I'll show you some of that too. Right now, this pro hair cutting kit is going at $38. Link in description. If that seems like it's too much for you, you can check out Amazon to see if there's anything cheaper. Click on that link to see the things that you might need. Some key things to know before you start. Number one, this lever on the side here, if it is pulled up like this, then that means it's going to cut your hair shorter. So these blades will be about even. If it's pushed down, so it's parallel with the outside, you see there's more of a space here. Up or closed, and down or open. Closed, open. So when it's closed, it's going to be an exact measurement. It's going to be shorter. Each of these has a number on it, 1 to 10. So 1 is shorter, leaves you with shorter hair. 10 is longer, leaves you with longer hair. Each number is exactly 1/8 of an inch. So if you put this on here and it's in closed position, your hair should be 3/8 of an inch since this has number 3 on it. So when you have it open like this, where there's more space between the blades, that means it will be half of a number. Add 0.5 to it, then that's what it'll be. So it would be a 3.5 instead of a 3, which would make your hair longer. If you don't understand that, that's okay. It's not that important. But just know that the smaller numbers will cut your hair shorter. Next thing that you're gonna need, it's not required, but it's really helpful, especially if it's your first or second time, this hand mirror. The link to this is also in the description if you don't have one already. You only want a nice wide, big one like this, not one of those small circle ones. And the purpose of this is to look directly into it and have the giant bathroom mirror, which is requirement number 3, behind you. So when you have the big mirror behind you, that means you can see more of what's going on in the back. If I were to look at the big mirror and try to look at the reflection of this, it would be a smaller space to see all of this. So that's why you want to look into the small mirror. Technically, it's also not required. I've shaved the back and sides of my head without any mirror at all. So hopefully you can get there too. So before you even start cutting, you're going to want to get a comb, any comb. It could be the one that comes in the kit, could be a different one. And you're just going to comb the back and sides of your hair. What this does is it removes tangles, so when you're shaving up, it's not going to get stuck. You are less prone to mistakes, such as it getting stuck and you try forcing it and you accidentally cut the wrong part. You're not going to do that. You're going to do this great, and I'm going to show you how. All right, the next thing that I like to do after that is actually to take off my shirt completely, because even when you're wearing the apron thing, it's still going to get some hair on it somehow, and then you're just going to have to throw it in the wash, and you're going to be itchier, so not fun. So I just take my shirt off. Then I get the apron licking thing that comes with it. And if I'm just cutting the back, I'll actually wear it backwards. So I'll have the long side on the back so that when the hair falls down, it doesn't get on my neck and like wherever as easily. It doesn't make me itchy as easily, which would be distracting while I'm cutting my hair. All right, so next we're going to talk about picking a size. Like I said, each number stands for 1/8 of an inch. So if you're going really short, I like to always go with the number 2. So I've actually already cut it. So this is what 2/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch would look like with the guard closed. And that's just the length that's good for me. If it's too short, then I look a little bald. So not trying to do that. But if you want it longer, which at the beginning I would recommend starting with a higher number than you think, just in case, because you can always cut it shorter, but you cannot undo if you cut it too short. So you're going to want to shave with the blade pointing up like this and just kind of drag through while it's on, obviously. And that's what you're going to want to do to cut the right amount of hair when the guard is on there. When the guard is not on there, you want to do the opposite. You want to shave down and you would only do the edges. So if you didn't have this on at all, you would just do the edges unless you're trying to remove all of your hair on your head. Then I guess you could go all up here and do all that stuff. But generally speaking, when it's off, you always want to go down. When any guard is on, then you want to do it in an upwards motion. And there is an exception to this when you're doing the sides. You can sort of do more of an angle if you don't want to accidentally cut the long hair on top. Just don't go down. It's not really going to do anything. So you're going to want to make sure your hair is out of the way. There's a couple ways to do this. Mine kind of just lies out of the way naturally. You can also use a hair tie, or you can sort of hold it out of the way as you're doing it, whatever works best for you. So I'm going to give you a couple really good tips that will help you to do this better. So tip number one is like looking at the mirrors and everything is helpful. To be honest, you know what it's supposed to feel like. Feeling it out can honestly be better. So you don't have to look at the mirror all the time, especially if it's in the back, right? You can check with the mirror afterwards to see if you did a good job. But after you've done this probably like 2 or 3 times, I would switch to not using one of the mirrors and then eventually switch to not using any mirrors, because if you can do it, why not build that skill, you know? So then another huge tip, if you're really worried about accidentally cutting the long hair, then 1, you can cover it with your hand so that you can't cut it, and 2, this can't cut you. If you have it on full speed and you just drive it into your hand repeatedly, nothing's gonna happen to your hand. See, this is on, rubbing it all over, it's not cutting it at all. So if you have your hand covering the long hair you don't want to cut, you accidentally run into it, you're totally fine. And your hair is protected, you're not hurt in any way. Obviously, you shouldn't just be like jamming it into your hand for fun, but if you do, nothing's gonna happen. So don't be afraid of this. It's not like gonna injure you. Although I wouldn't recommend doing it without a guard like this on there. Second tip, remember to go through each section of your hair multiple times, because there's a chance that when you did it the first time, you might have missed something. So you wanna just do it over and over again, because it's not gonna cut your hair shorter the second time you go over it, but it will get any spots that you missed, which is what you want. You want it to be clean, get all the spots you missed. So when you're doing the sides, you only actually need one mirror, which is the one in front of you, because you can actually see everything. Helps a lot. Pro tip here is to always make sure that you're getting behind your ear and sort of all around those edges, because it can be easy to miss those if you're not paying attention. All right, so the last thing you're gonna wanna do is clean everything up. And what I mean by that is make the edges nice and crisp and not so rough, right? So if you're a guy, there's probably gonna be hair on your neck, like below your normal hairline. Your hairline that you cut with the electric razor probably isn't gonna be super smooth and straight. So what you're gonna wanna do is take this and sort of follow that hairline and just shave down from it. So what this does is it makes a nicer, more professional look, and it won't be as rough to look at, and you can get all of those pesky neck hairs out of the way. You're gonna want this to be on closed mode, like this, so that it can cut the most hair possible, because you're wanting a close shave for this part. I also do this on the sides, if you don't want sideburns, just to make sure it is nice and clean there as well. Finally, the last way to clean all of this up is to actually use scissors. So if you're looking and you have like some smaller hairs back here that are longer than you want, but they don't belong up here, or like any hairs that like, it's just like a single or like a small bit of hair that you missed, right? Not like a lot to where you can get it with a razor, or it's in a difficult to reach place, you can just grab scissors and cut that. So you don't wanna do like, if I miss this section, you don't wanna do just one clean cut, right? Because I can't see that angle, so it might be off, and then it's gonna look weird. And it's all gonna be the exact same length, or it'll be like diagonal same length. You don't want that. So what instead you're gonna do is you're gonna kind of lightly cut and just like do that a few times. That way it looks smoother and more controlled. And then doing that, you can get all of the little stragglers done, and that's it. After that, you are finished. You can sort of, if you want to keep the front long, you can just use scissors or thinning shears, which I won't talk about in this video, but there's a bunch of different options you can do for that. And then the last thing that you have to do is clean up the mess and take a shower, because your body's probably gonna be itchy at this point, because you're definitely gonna have some hair that escaped through the robe looking thing, and you don't want to be itchy all night when you're trying to sleep. So comb your hair, get any excess out that maybe was cut but didn't fall off your head, and then go take a shower, and then you're good. Sweet, I hope this video was really helpful and helps you save a lot of money in the future and gives you more of a sense of control, because honestly, I've never gone to a barber and liked the haircut, but every time I do it myself, like 9 out of 10 times, I like it. So it's pretty hard to mess up, and if you do mess up, it's your fault, so it's like more acceptable. But I would highly recommend doing this. Honestly, like, it's really nice to not have to rely on explaining to a new person every time how to do something when they don't know me, but you know you. So I would highly recommend this to anyone, honestly, if you can. Drop a like if you enjoyed this, sub if you want to see more content. I hope you have the best day of your life and that you do a great job cutting your own hair, and peace.